You know why I really love Nick Hood as a minister? I watched his father do it, and he took over for the church, and he was one of us, but he really turned out to be a great minister. I know it's hard, and that's something that I know that all ministers may not be doing what they're doing because for the right reasons, but I know it's hard. I know he's a beautiful man, and we've been knowing each other for over 50 years. I believe in him. He's inspired me in so many ways to do what I'm doing and try to be the best at it. Make sure you watch Nick Hood's ministries. You'll never be the same.
Welcome to Nicholas Hood III Ministries, a ministry of hope, spiritual inspiration, personal power guided by Christian love. May the power of God's Holy Spirit fall upon you as you sit back and enjoy today's program. I introduce you now to Pastor Nicholas Hood III.
And the point that I'm making is that in everybody's life, at some point, there's a plan B. God is talking to us every step of the way. God is trying to show you something every step of the way. When things seem to be going wrong, that's God's way of opening another door. I am convinced that God has been directing me every step of my life.
On the Word Network.
This is a new ministry which is just starting. Reverend Hood needs your help in sharing the good news of Jesus Christ and His power throughout the world. If you would be so kind as to send a donation to Nicholas Hood III Ministries of any amount, Reverend Hood will send you a free complimentary copy of his book of original personal prayers and beautiful photographs entitled The Test, The Strength, The Endurance, and The Way Out.
Today I want to talk about gaining the world but losing your soul. I have with me Bishop Moses Turere, all the way from Kenya, and he is the pastor, the bishop of the Cathedral, the Global Cathedral in Kenya. So good to have you with me today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to be back in just 1 minute, and you're going to learn more about Bishop Turere's ministry and also how to lead a life where you don't lose your soul. Be right back. And the point that I'm making is that in everybody's life, at some point, there's a plan B. Again, this is Nick Hood, and with me today is Bishop Moses Turere from the Cathedral, the Global Cathedral in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. He has a fantastic ministry there. And Bishop Turere, just in case somebody looking today did not see the program last week, tell us a little bit more about your ministry. Tell us about the Global Cathedral in Kenya.
So the Global Cathedral is an organization of 327 churches, divided in two categories. 7, I call them rhinos, and 320 are called rabbits. Rabbits are smaller churches planted in the rural areas or started in the rural areas where there is no civilization. And then rhinos are mega churches planted in the capital cities of Africa. So the Global Cathedral plants churches or start churches. The Global Cathedral also provide clean water to communities where there is no water. So we currently provide 200,000 people with clean water in the rural areas on the southern border of Kenya and Tanzania. The Global Cathedral also train leaders. Through our leadership program, the Global Cathedral has trained over 3,200 leaders in East Africa. So that is a Global Cathedral. That's what we do.
And is your ministry focused primarily in Kenya?
No, we are in seven nations of East Africa.
Which other nations?
We have churches in Tanzania, we have churches in Uganda, We have churches in Zambia. We are heading to Ethiopia. We're going to Ethiopia. So our goal is to eventually spread the rhinos into all the nations, the capital nations of Africa.
Okay, and your ministry is definitely Christian. You're non-denominational?
Yes, we are a non-denominational ministry, and our roots, my personal roots, I came from the Southern Baptist, and but we are basically a non-denominational ministry that believes in the Bible and preach the gospel, believes in church planting, and believes in leadership development, and believe in humanitarian work, or providing clean water and distributing food. Hey, I forgot to mention, the Global Cathedral supplies 100,000 bags of food every month to families to poor families that have no food in many parts of Kenya.
When I listened to you last week talk about the water, the free water program, and the food, the animals, the livestock that you provide to the villagers, a question popped up in my mind, which is, why do people live in those areas? I mean, are those traditional areas where they live?
Yes.
And why would they choose an area without water?
Well, first of all, understand that there are no areas that has water in Kenya. Even the capital city of Kenya, Nairobi.
None of the areas do.
Yes, even the capital city of Nairobi, there is no enough water. So the second reason why these people live, so that's one thing you need to keep in your mind. There is no really a specific place in Kenya and so many others arid, semi-arid nations of Africa that has a lot of water that you can say, I'm going to live in this area because it's more water. Now, the second reason why these people live in those areas where they live is because that is their ancestral land. These are farmers of livestock. The source of their life is livestock. That's all they know all their lives, to raise cattle, to raise sheep, to raise goats. That's all they know. So for generations, their ancestors have lived on this land, and therefore, for them to be able to graze their cows, to be able to farm their cows, large kettles of cows and sheep, you require a grazing area. And that grazing area is usually outside of capital cities. Main cities have no place where you can raise a livestock. So you have to do it outside of the city where you can farm the livestock. So that's why they live in those areas.
Mm-hmm. Bishop, the Bible verse that has been jumping out at me all week long, preceding, today, our time, is Jesus, the words of Jesus in Matthew 16, when he says, if any man would follow me, let him deny himself, pick up his cross,
right,
and follow me. And how do you, take a message like that, with the good work that your church is doing? What does that mean to you? Deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me.
I think to me it means two things. Number one, it means that life is not always about me. It's not always about what I can get for me, for myself. It's not always life is not always about me. Sometimes life is about others. The meaning of life lies in the ability to help others to find joy in life and to find their purpose and to live a life also. So number two, it means that life is not always about more and more and more. The greed of life that always leads us into, I want to have more, I want to have more cars, I want to have more material resources, I want to have a bigger house, I want to have more relationship, I want to have this, more of this. They take us away from Jesus. And the best way to fight this greed of more is to pour your life to others. Because at the end of the day, when we come to the end, we take nothing to heaven except the works that we've done to impact the life of other people. So talking about the water, I think that is an important, whether it is water, whether it is medical work, whether it is feeding program, whether it is school fees children, whatever that one can do to fight the greed of always needs more and more that leads us away from God. That's why even when we have more, we are still sad. You have so much, but you're still sad. You're not happy. Even with all these things that you have, because life is not always about having more material things. That's what it meant to me.
I'm so impressed that with your church, I learned that the president of Kenya is a member of your church.
Sure.
The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is a member of your church, and you have some other judges there. That's very impressive. Do you have some other persons in your church who are not as wealthy? Do you have a strata? A mixture of people.
We have all the people in our church, from the bottom to the top. We have all the people in church.
And they all relate to each other.
We have people that we pay for them the transport to come to church on Sunday because they cannot even afford their transport to come to church. We have a big percentage of our church actually are young people, university students who are still in the university. They don't have money. We do have a group of people that are very high people, professional and government officials who also come to our church. God has been so gracious to us. We have a mix of all. So our church is an opportunity where both sides of life meet, the very bottom and the very top.
I really I like hearing that because my church in Detroit, I don't think is as big as your church. You described churches as rabbits and rhinos.
Right.
We would be more like a rabbit.
Right.
But in the African American community here in Detroit, Michigan, our church, and mine is not the only church. I think in many of our churches, what I'm going to say is similar. It's one of the few places in America where people meet regardless of their social and economic strata. The poor and the not so poor come together in prayer. We come together to read the scriptures. We come together to reflect on the sermons.
Right.
And we come together in doing good works. When Jesus says, if anybody would follow me, let him pick up his cross, deny himself. And what does it profit a person if they gain the world but lose their soul?
Correct. Because you can have the things of the world and lose your life. You can have the things of the world and still don't have joy. You can have a good car, but you cannot hold a marriage. You can have a lot of money, but you don't have good morals and you don't have a good name. Having the things, gaining the whole world and lose your soul. I want to say something else. One of the things I learned from the African, specifically the Maasai culture, where I come from, this idea of young people killing the lion.
Killing the lion, okay. Tell us more about that.
The idea that did not only taught me about the cultural importance of becoming a man, but it also teaches the importance of coming together in unity. You have a group of 10 or 11 young boys who comes together. They are trained from year 1 to year 12 and 13 to prepare how to face a predator, a 600 to 700 kilogram predator lion who can devour you in 2 bites. But the survival of these 10 boys is in the togetherness when they work together as a team. They coordinate together as a team to bring down a big challenge. What I'm trying to say there, I think if the African community, if our African people and all the people who lives in communities and churches come together and rally one cause and do one thing under the umbrella of a church or organization, we can achieve more together than divided. So that's why it is important what you're saying. Churches like your church and our church are the places where the poor meet and the rich. They all meet together there. We discuss issues as a people, not as classes of people. We discuss as a people. So because problems, Reverend, you know this better than me. There are problems in life that don't have racial boundaries. They cross any boundary. To get you regardless of your money and your education and all that. So I'm saying that to say, in our culture, there are people who have such a greed for more land, but then they end up dying and their land goes to other people. So I'm saying that to say, people should not lose their soul in the search for the world.
On that note, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the lion.
That's right.
Okay?
Right.
Folks, I want you to ponder that question today. You know, have you gained the world but lost your soul? We're going to be right back with Bishop Turere after this little break.
You know why I really love Nick Hood as a minister? I watched his father do it, and he took over for the church, and he was one of us, but he really turned out to be a great minister. I know it's hard, and that's something that I know that all ministers may not be doing what they're doing because for the right reasons, but I know it's hard. I know he's a beautiful man, and we've been knowing each other for over 50 years. I believe in him. He's inspired me in so many ways to do what I'm doing and try to be the best at it. Make sure you watch Nick Hood's ministries. You'll never be the same.
Step of the way. God is trying to show you something every step of the way. When things seem to be going wrong, that's God's way of opening another door. I am convinced that God has been directing me every step of my life.
On the Word Network.
This is a new ministry which is just starting. Reverend Hood needs your help in sharing the good news of Jesus Christ and His power throughout the world. If you would be so kind as to send a donation to Nicholas Hood III Ministries of any amount, Reverend Hood will send you a free complimentary copy of his book of original personal prayers and beautiful photographs entitled The Test, The Strength, The Endurance, and The Way Out.
Friends, again, I'm with Bishop Moses Turere of the Global Cathedral in Nairobi, Kenya. And he's been talking today about his dynamic ministry, the very large ministry. And before the station break, you were talking about the things that you learned, the cooperation, with the other boys to kill a lion.
Right.
Tell me this. I mean, you said you would have maybe 10 or 11, 12 boys to gather together, and you would work together in killing the lion.
Right.
Are there any adults with you?
No.
No adults?
No.
So
That's not a game for adults at that particular time. It's not a course for adults. So what happened? The Maasai community where I come from has several ways of training the young man the young boy on how to become a man. There is a whole process that you are taken through, and you are taught on how to qualify, to graduate becoming a man. About 7 steps on how to.
And how does this take a year or 2 years or 3 years? How long?
Between year 1 to year 12 and 13 of your life.
Okay.
So you have 12 years of a thorough training about judgment, about targets, about courage, about timing, about tactics on how to kill a lion. So one of the steps that you have to go through to become a man, you have to kill a lion. Without killing a lion, you don't get a wife, you don't get a girlfriend. So this is how it works. 10 boys of the same age or 15 comes together, after a long, many years of training, they go follow the lion. Everybody has a spear. They follow the lion into the bushes. They provoke the lion so hard. And that when the lion gets so angry, he comes out, face the people, and then he will be tapping his tail on the ground, and the dust will be evaporating to the, up to the sky. The dust will be rising from the ground. At that point, the 10, 12, 13, 15 boys will make a circle around the lion. Not a full circle. They will make a circle and the lion will be somehow in between. At that point, judgment, timing, courage, quick movement means like it's what stands between you and death. So whoever boy throws the spear to the lion, that is the one the lion goes after. So if the boy who stands there throws a spear to the lion is going to try to get him. The boy on this other end throws a spear to the lion. The lion will turn and try to get him. Before the lion gets him, this other boy here throws a spear to the lion. The lion will try to get him. And if all coordinates and cooperate very well, after 6, 7 boys throw their spears, the lion is going to be unconscious. They will take the sword, cut the back muscles of the lion, because the back muscles are connected to the teeth. So when they cut the back muscles, the lions cannot bite. So, and then they cut the tail as a trophy to show that they killed the lion. Sometimes it goes wrong, and the lion gets one of the boys. Then the other boys take their swords, not the spear. They take their swords, cut the back muscles of the lion so that the lion don't kill their friend. So sometimes the lion, not sometimes, many times, the lion gets one of the boys. It is up to the other boys to save his friend, from the lion. And I think today, churches and communities and believers in Jesus needs to understand there are so many people in the mouth of the lion, and we need to cooperate together to save so many people who are in the mouth of the lion.
That's quite a lesson in working cooperatively with one another.
Right.
Do the boys take more than one spear with them?
No, one spear, then one sword, but everybody has a spear and they know how to use it so well. They know how to time the ribs. They know where to hit the lion that kills the lion faster. But sometimes even with all the training and the timing and all that, it goes wrong, and the lion gets one of them.
Bishop, your church is located in Nairobi,
Right.
the capital city.
Right.
So does your church attract people from more than the Maasai tribe? Do you have different tribes in your church?
Kenya is a community of 43 tribes.
43 tribes, okay.
All of them are in our church.
Okay.
They're all of them in our church.
And they get along?
And they are Christian in the Lord. So they come together, they work together. We build the church together as a people, not as a tribe. We build that church together, all the people from all the tribes of Kenya, even some who are not even non-national, non-Kenyan, but they still fit in, because we come together as a community of believers in Christ, and not a community of the Maasai or any other community among the 43.
I am fascinated and impressed with your ministry. Again, if somebody is looking at this program today, how can they find out more? Tell us the name of your, do you know your website offhand? But we will also print it on the screen.
So the name of our website is www.theglobalcathedral.org. Again, the name of the website is www.theglobalcathedral.org. Go to this website and get more information about our ministry and the things that our ministry are doing. And also, when you go to that website, you'll be able to support financially by sending a financial support to support the work that we do, to support the people with the water project, 200,000 people that we give water project every day, 100,000 people that we support with the food distribution every month, and also planting of churches across East Africa. And if you have any trouble of giving your support donation online, you are free to call Reverend Nick Hood, and Reverend Nick Hood will pass over your donation to us.
Folks, I hope you've enjoyed the program today. Frankly, I have been just mesmerized listening to Bishop Turere this week and last week, not just about the lion, but your model for growing churches. You said you have 327 churches.
Right.
So you are a real bishop. You know, we have some people here who call themselves bishops, but they don't have many churches. But
I want to tell you
you've got rhinos and rabbits.
I want to tell you something.
That's
Kenya,
the big churches and the little churches.
Yes, in Kenya, you cannot become a bishop unless you have minimum 50 churches.
A minimum of 50 churches.
I hear here in America with $50, somebody can be a bishop.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, you have to have at least 50 churches to become a bishop.
Mm-hmm.
We have 327
I'm
in
impressed.
7 nations of Africa.
I am impressed. Well, look, folk, we're about out of time, but I hope you've enjoyed today's program. This is very unique. It's very rare you get to hear somebody directly from Kenya to talk about what Jesus Christ is doing right there on the ground right now. And we've heard it from the bishop's mouth, Bishop Moses Turere. So again, Bishop, on behalf of my ministry, I thank you so much. I hope this is not the last time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And then I want to thank the people of Detroit and the wonderful American people, who have showed me some hospitality for the last 3 weeks that I've been in America. So I'm heading home, and thank you for having me here today.
You're so welcome. Bishop is going to be preaching in my church. By the time you see this, he will have already preached there. But I'm just looking forward to it. And again, God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes.
God bless.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much. And the point that I'm making is that in everybody's life, at some point, there's a plan B. God is talking to us every step of the way. God is trying to show you something every step of the way. When things seem to be going wrong, that's God's way of opening another door. I am convinced that God has been directing me every step of my life.
On the Word Network.
This is a new ministry which is just starting. Reverend Hood needs your help in sharing the good news of Jesus Christ and His power throughout the world. If you would be so kind as to send a donation to Nicholas Hood III Ministries of any amount, Reverend Hood will send you a free complimentary copy of his book of original personal prayers and beautiful photographs entitled The Test, The Strength, The Endurance, and The Way Out.
And the point that I'm making is that in everybody's life, at some point, there's a plan B. God is talking to us every step of the way. God is trying to show